Hey barbecue family, Kenyatta Robinson here. Welcome back to my backyard SmokeMaster barbecue channel. So one of the challenges that you'll find if you happen to buy a stick burner is where do you source good wood? So here in the Bay Area, what I found to be, the most plentiful, readily available wood is oak, which is great for smoking. Almond wood, which I have tried, but personally I'm not a real big fan of almond. And also pine wood, which is not good. It's an evergreen, not good for smoking meat at all. I mean, don't even consider it. Just use pine to warm up your house, but don't cook with it. The big challenge that I've come across is, where do I find other types of wood to use in my stick burner? I really like hickory wood, but I haven't been able to find a resource from which I can buy, a lot of hickory wood. I have found, and I mentioned this in a recent video that I did featuring my Lone Star Grill offset smoker. I have found that Lowe's sells, I think it's like 0.6 cubic feet packages of hickory that is sold by Cowboy. And I found that the Cowboy hickory wood, it's a little pricey, like $19.99. Sometimes you can get a better deal if you find it during a closeout at Lowe's at the end of the barbecue season. So a little bit pricey, but I find that the wood, their hickory wood, I really like it. They're designed to go in pits, so they're cut the size of the splits themselves. I don't have to do anything else to them right out of the bag. They fit really well inside of my my LSG firebox on the 20x42. I'm no wood connoisseur or expert, but just from looking at those splits and also comparing it to the splits that I got locally, the oak wood that I got, I can tell that what Cowboy is packaging for the hickory, these are some nice splits of wood. They appear to be very well seasoned, clean. You're not going to open the bag and end up with a lot of bugs, a lot of dirt, a lot of grime. These look pretty clean. So I don't know if Cowboy sells other types of wood besides hickory. That's the only type that I've seen. But I did come across recently where Ace Hardware, if you go online and search for wood, which I did recently, much to my surprise, I found that they also sell little packages of wood sold by B&B, and you guys may know B&B. They make lump charcoal, at least that's how I knew them before this, but they also sell these packages of wood, and they sell them 1 cubic foot. And I think for some of the types of wood, it's a little bit larger, maybe 1.25 cubic feet. Don't quote me on that. I'm just kind of going off of memory. But they also sell these packages for $19.99. And I found that they have a pretty good variety. So I actually went online and I ordered a bunch of different types. I just wanted to test it out. I ordered maple, cherry, apple. I also ordered pecan, hickory, and I think they also had oak available. I didn't order the oak, but they had a pretty good variety. So I placed my order online. I'm an Ace Rewards member, so they will actually, if you're an Ace Rewards member, they will actually deliver stuff that you buy online to your home for free. So I took advantage of that, and I had all of that wood delivered to me, and I got it in about 2 days after I placed the order. So I haven't tried it yet. I haven't opened any of the packages. Today I'm going to cook some chicken thighs on my LSG, and I want to see, you know, just how does this wood compare. I already feel like the hickory that I get through Lowe's, the Cowboy brand, you know, that's a good alternative for me, especially if I can catch it at a closeout price. But I want to see if the B&B branded wood is also a pretty good alternative. So I'm going to check that out today. I'm going to use some Applewood, and I'll get one of those packages open, compare it to a package of the Cowboy hickory to see, you know, if the length of these splits are ready to go into the smoker, if I need to do anything. Also, if they seem to be, you know, clean, you know, on the same level is what I found for these Cowboy hickory splits. So we're going to check that out, and I'll let you guys know what I think. All right, guys, so here we've got a couple of packages of wood. On the left is the Cowboy hickory, and on the bag it says pit style cooking wood, and it's 0.65 cubic feet. On the right we have B&B's competition barbecue and cooking wood, and this is the apple, and it is exactly 1 cubic foot, and they both cost the same. Alright, so for each package, I just reached in, took out the first 3 pieces, and put them side by side here just to give you an idea at what you can expect. So, what I like about the Cowboy hickory wood, each of these pieces is about 8 inches long, and about 3 to 4 inches thick, and these fit perfectly inside of my firebox on the LSG. And I also really like is you get a lot of pieces like this, no bark, thick, very clean. I always feel confident, you know, I'm going to be able to get some nice clean smoke using these cuts. And like I said, I don't have to do anything else to them once I pull them out of the bag. So now the first 3 pieces that I pulled from this apple bag, and maybe I need to open up a B&B hickory package to get a better comparison, because I'm thinking that, you know, apple trees probably don't grow as thick around the base as hickory trees do, and maybe that explains some of the differences. But these splits, let me steady myself here, these splits are about 12 to 13 inches long. So you see they're a little bit longer than these hickory cuts, and they're not as thick. So each one I measured already about 2 to 3 inches wide. So I do think in terms of the size of the cut that these will work well inside of my LSG. We'll find out today. And this is actually more reminiscent of the quality of the oak wood that I got from the local tree supplier here. But I've had to do more work with that oak wood to cut them down to a good size to fit inside of my smoker. So these I think will work in terms of the size. Seems like gonna get a lot more bark. I'm also not an expert when it comes to seasoning. I mean, I do feel like these hickory, and I'm trying to do this all with one hand. I probably should pick them both up off the ground, but I know you're looking for kind of a hollow sound. I feel like these are seasoned well. I don't know, maybe you guys that know better about this can tell me if I'm misinterpreting. Now these apple splits, I think this is actually more of the sound that you probably want. And again, I don't know, maybe because the hickory is thicker, that I'm not really getting the same kind of hollow sound. And just from looking at it, it looks like these apple splits, they just look older to me than the hickory. But again, I have no way to prove that. So on the B&B, it does say kiln dried fuel wood. I don't really see any indication as to whether or not the Cowboy bag is also kiln dried, and I can't remember if that's a good thing or not. I think it's a process to help speed up the process of seasoning the wood. Again, I could be totally wrong on that. I'm just thinking that I remember reading that somewhere. So I think for comparison's sake, I'm going to go ahead and get a package of the hickory from B&B, see what it looks like inside to compare it to what we've got inside the Cowboy, so we get more of a hickory to hickory comparison. See what I did there? Alright, so here's a package of B&B's hickory. Now, this package for the hickory is 1.25 cubic feet. It costs the same as 1 cubic foot of their apple. And just looking at the splits, so I'm just going to talk about the one in the middle. This one measured out at about, I think it was between 12 and 13 inches long, and it's 3 inches wide. It's not as thick as the Cowboy brand, but it's a little bit longer in terms of the length of the split, at least on that one there. Now these others, actually this cut is about the same length. Also, notice again the B&B has, I mean, these are just the first 3 I pulled out of the bag, but has more bark. Now this one right here seems a little bit more like what I typically see out of Cowboy. So it's a little bit of paint. And it's got more of that hollow sound. Alright, barbecue family, so I just got my fire started. So at the bottom of my firebox, and I bought this charcoal box that many of you have probably seen in my other videos. So my idea here is to have a small contained fire, and that's what the charcoal box helps me to achieve. So I put some lump charcoal at the very bottom, and then on top of that we've got 2 splits of the B&B Applewood, and it fits inside of that box, which is what I was hoping for. Really doesn't need to be any longer than this in terms of the length. Again, these splits seem to be about 12 to 13 inches long, a couple inches thick. So again, in terms of length, I wouldn't want them to be any longer than this. So I think I do prefer Cowboy's hickory, where they come in at about 8 inches long. A little more manageable, not quite pushing it. But, you know, again, these do fit. Alright, so let's get this chicken on. And then with regard to the Applewood, I mean, the two splits definitely burned well. I think, you know, that they are pretty dry, so these are pretty easy to get going, get burning at a good temperature. And you know, it's actually burning cleaner than I expected, you know, just from visually looking at that wood. But if you look at my smokestack, I know a lot of you guys are really interested in getting a clean light blue smoke. I mean, you can barely see the smoke coming out of my smokestack. And this is probably about maybe 45 minutes to an hour after I got things started in the firebox. So burns clean, and I don't really have any complaints. Like I said, I guess my only desire is that the splits don't come any longer than 12 inches, but you know, 12 to 13 I think will work fine inside of my firebox. Other than that, I really don't have any reservations, and I think this is going to be a good alternative. So I'm excited. This is my first time getting to smoke some meat in my stick burner with Apple, thanks to the availability of B&B through Ace Hardware. All right, barbecue family, my chicken thighs seasoned with Harry Sue's Slap Ya Daddy Jailbird Chicken Championship Rub has come off of the smoker. These were smoked with the B&B Applewood, and I'm going to give the honor of the first taste goes to my lovely wife, Janine. So come on over.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Grab a piece of your choice.
Oh, I got to put some gloves on.
All right, for some reason, she felt like she needed to put on gloves.
Which one's mine? Do I have my pick, or do I have to have the earmarked one? Just for moi.
As I said, you pick whatever piece you want.
I'm going small. Oh, that's good. I like it. It's kind of sweet but spicy. Like, not totally spicy, but a little hint of something. It's really juicy. Oh my god.
Right. Actually, that's what I like about Harry Sue's rub, is that you do get, just like Janine said, you get some spice, but not overly spicy, but then it also tastes a little sweet as well.
Yeah, the sweet is a hit for me. I like that part. Yeah, this is really good.
All right, guys, so to sum it up, ultimately what I wanted to do today was to see if there are any good wood alternatives for when you don't have a local tree supplier where you can find like a cord of your favorite type of wood at a good price. I mean, ultimately that's the most economical, cost-effective way to buy woods and store up for cooking with your stick burner. But again, in my situation, I have some oak, but I wanted some additional varieties of wood as well, and wanted to see if, in addition to Cowboy's hickory 0.6 cubic foot packages that are available at Lowe's, wanted to see if those, in addition to B&B's packaged woods, where they seem to have a greater variety in terms of the types of wood available sold through Ace Hardware. I wanted to see if these would be good alternatives. So the B&B, this was my first time using their wood, so I used Applewood from B&B, and you know, I'm really happy with it, actually. Even though it looked like it may have been over dried out, you know, just from looking at it with my bare, you know, just with my eyes, and you know, having a non-expert opinion about it visually, you know, my hopes weren't that high necessarily. I thought maybe it would maybe burn too fast or wouldn't burn clean, but I was pleasantly surprised. The wood actually burned pretty rapidly, or at least it caught fire pretty rapidly. But in terms of, you know, putting it in my firebox, in my stick burner, you know, the speed with which each split burned, I'd say was on par with what I'm accustomed to. It didn't seem to burn any slower or any faster than what I'm used to. And it burned very clean, you know, just from visually looking at the smoke coming out of my smokestack. I have absolutely no concern. So again, you know, I think, you know, if you can find a local supplier, that's really the best way to go. But if you don't have those options, buying wood in the packages from B&B or Cowboy, I think those are actually pretty good alternatives, and it gives you a nice variety. So, all right guys, so I hope this video was useful, helpful to you guys. Also, I do recommend Harry Sue's Slap Your Daddy Jailbird Chicken Rub. It tastes great on chicken. So if you like what you see here on the channel, I really would appreciate your support. Go ahead and subscribe. Feel free to leave comments. I try to respond to as many comments as I can. Love getting suggestions and hearing your feedback. This is Kenyatta Robinson. I appreciate you watching my Backyard SmokeMaster Barbecue channel. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.